morning, All Top Crusaders. I'm Nicholas Alberico.
And I'm Lucas Allred, and welcome to CBN.
Today we'll be talking about current events, upcoming events, MLB Payrolls, and a little bit of other things.
That sounds great. I'm going to send it off to Boyd for current events.
All right, cool.
Thank you, guys. And now for some world news. Last week, Beto O'Rourke announced his candidacy for president in the 2020 election. Before this, he lost to Ted Cruz for the Texas Senate. President Trump used his first official veto as he blocked Congress's attempt to stop the national emergency funding for the border down by Mexico and the U.S. And now for some sports news. March Madness officially started Sunday as teams were picked for the first round. The first round will start on Tuesday and officially end on Friday. And now for some local sports. This week, both Belleville West and East St. Louis won in their division for state basketball. Belleville West won their second state championship in a row. That's all the news this week, and back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Boyd. Now, I'm going to send it off to Tyler and Drew, who are discussing MLB payrolls and whether or not MLB players should be paid as much as they are now.
These are some interesting opinions that no way reflect the views of All Top Catholic.
Thanks, guys. I'm Darius, and this is Tyler. Today we saw some big-name players need massive contracts. On to you, T-Blair.
So, Bryce Harper and Manny Machado became free agents 2018 and 2019 offseason. Bryce Harper's playing for the Nationals. The Nationals were a postseason team. Oftentimes didn't make it past the first round. And when they didn't, they finished, in the middle of their division. Now, Manny Machado is a little bit different story. He played for Baltimore, probably the worst team in the MLB. Went to the Dodgers, got traded to the Dodgers, and competed in the postseason for them there. And, but obviously that contract wasn't going to last, expired. And so he was a free agent, him and Bryce Harper both. Bryce Harper, agent, wanted $400 million. Teams weren't going to offer that. The Phillies signed him for a 13-year, $330 million contract. And Manny Machado, 10-year, $330 million. So the Padres, when you look at a team like the Padres, you think of a very struggling team in the division. They not a playoff team. Don't really even finish in the middle of the division. They're usually last. And when you look at a place like San Diego, popular place, lots of people, should be bringing in big crowds. Well, if you have an underperforming team, you're not going to be able to do that. So if you go out and get a star like Manny Machado that has seasons where he performs amazing, you can draw in people and get people excited, even if your team's not the best. And you might not make it to that postseason that first year, but you're going to finish higher up in the division, which is going to get you better looks. People are going to start coming to games more, get your club more money, and you can rebuild a new team around Manny Machado. And if you can do that, they can be back in playoff contention. And so I feel like that's why some of these teams are spending this big money just to get that central player so they can do a rebuild phase.
As you said, for clubs to get more money, whenever you're talking about Bryce Harper, $330 million, what that's going to do it's going to raise ticket prices, it's going to raise soda, food prices, everything in the stadium's going to go up because they need to get that money back. So when people, as you said, more people will come to the crowds, well, not everyone can do that. Like with families of 4+, a ticket is going to be about $40, $50 plus drinks and food. That's a lot of money. And I'm just saying, with teachers and doctors of the world who aren't getting paid that much money, is $330 million really necessary to pay them?
Well, and I understand, you look at a team like the Phillies, obviously they competed great last year in the division. We're at the top for a while, couldn't quite finish through, but they have, and then obviously they came with some, a playoff contention spot, but they didn't really have, a central big name. They had Roy Halladay when he pitched there, but they didn't have an offensive, player that could really, make something happen. And when you go out and sign a player like Bryce Harper, yes, he probably will not have a season like he did his rookie year. It's not likely. But he could also perform much better than he did last season. You're going to have up, down years. Last year, obviously, his first half of the season was terrible. After the All-Star break, he performed very well. And so I think they're looking for, again, that central player. But when you're looking at, $330 million a year, you might say it's a lot. But when you look at a player like Mike Trout, plays for the Angels, he's going to be a free agent. And although I do not believe he's like Bryce Harper, where I think Mike Trout truly loves just playing the game.
Oh, yeah.
He'd be okay, making league minimum, because he enjoys just playing the game. He's not necessarily there for all show and stuff. But obviously with him having an agent and everything, they're going to be asking for money for him. And a lot of people think he is the next big thing in baseball.
Oh.
He carries the Angels, who somewhat of an underperforming team. They haven't really done much other than Mike Trout, and Mike Trout's that player that you can build that team off of. So if you got a lower end team or a team in the middle of a rebuild phase that's looking for that one player to build around, Mike Trout's a great option. And the problem is so many teams are going to be competing for that contracts are going to be through the roof. He could once again break another record for the biggest contract. And so, although yes, prices are going to raise and stuff, unfortunately in this modern day, baseball's not just a game. Baseball's a business, and those team owners are looking to make as much money as possible. So if that means going out and buying a big name and having to raise prices, they're not gonna not do that.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Baseball's a business, and they're just trying to do the best for their team. But Mike Trout could get a contract of $400 million in 10 years, 15 years, something like that, and that is just crazy. And I know it's a business, but if you just want to lower Mike Trout's contract to maybe even $200 million or something like that, then no one else is going to get a contract over Mike Trout, because Mike Trout's arguably the best player in baseball.
Yeah.
And it's a generational talent. And in my opinion, even if you would lower that one just a little bit, you're not going to get players over there. And generally, as time goes on, a little lower and lower contracts is going to be better for the world itself than rather prices keep raising and raising and raising. And if you just lower the money a little bit, it's going to kind of help more things around globally around the world.
And I understand what you're saying with that, lowering contracts, and that's another thing that comes into big play like this. You look at players, Nolan Arenado, I believe, he deserved a good portion of the contract. Amazing third baseman, plays amazing baseball for the Rockies. But you look at Alex Rodriguez, when he signed with the Yankees, it did not go well. He underperformed for what they signed him for. And I feel like if they wouldn't have offered such big money up, and that's Yankees are known for offering that big money and getting those star players. And if you're going to spend money like that on Alex Rodriguez, why is it so bad for teams like the Phillies to go out and spend this money on a player like Bryce Harper that smashed records his rookie year and has continued to play very good baseball since then? Last year obviously not a good year, but I feel like that's truly his first bad year he's had. And so if you're gonna make these big contracts, you can't make them to players that are just okay.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're gonna lower it to Bryce Harper $250 million, you can't go out and offer Alex Rodriguez $275 million for a 10-year contract.
Yeah.
It's got to be much lower than that.
And even though you're making some good points about why it should be bigger and baseball's a business, in my opinion, it still just comes down to the basic point of this money is not needed in the slightest sense for people who are just playing baseball compared to people who are helping people every minute in the emergency room and saving lives and teaching these kids what to do. I just don't think $330 million, 13 years, Machado, $300 million, 10 years. I just don't think this money is necessary for how these other people in the world are doing more important things to help the world and getting paid a lot less a year. And Bryce Harper's making $25 million a year, and maybe the teacher's making $50,000. I really don't have any idea, but I'm just saying that, and I just don't really see how that correlates to how it should be.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair point, and you made some good points, and I understand where you come from.
Thank you.
That was this week's editorial. Thanks, guys. Back to you.
Thanks, guys. Those are some interesting thoughts. Now I'll send it off to lunch with Thomas.
Thanks, guys. On Monday, we're going to be having a country chicken nugget bowl. On Tuesday, we're going to be having pancakes and syrup with sausage. On Wednesday, we're going to be having sweet and sour chicken with broccoli and rice. On Thursday, we're going to have pasta carbonara with bacon and chicken. And on Friday, we're going to be having a potato crunch fish sandwich. Wow. Many options, so many to choose. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Thomas. Those look like some nice options for lunch. Nick, what's your favorite lunch option?
I'm gonna have to go with the chicken nuggets.
Once again, he is wrong because the chicken sandwich towers over everything.
No, not really. But now we're going to Miles to get a look at our student of the week.
Hi, I am Miles Wilhelm, and I am here with this week's Student of the Week, Lisa Whitener. So, Lisa, what grade are you in?
I'm a junior.
Okay, she is our Student of the Week this week. And first off, have you ever won this award before?
I have not.
Are you looking to use any of the prizes that you get, such as the parking pass or the Tavern on Main gift certificate?
I already have a front row parking spot, but I will definitely be using the gift card. My family goes to Tavern on Main all the time, so it's kind of great.
Were you surprised by your nomination, or did you kind of see it coming?
I think I was a little surprised.
And lastly, do you have any advice to give to anyone that's looking to win this award in the future?
Just always be kind. You never know who's watching.
All right, sounds good. Let's send it back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Miles. Now, we're going to hand it off to Megan, who's interviewing Ms Mel, who's part of the Redbird cleaning staff.
Come follow me to the cafeteria. Well, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm fine.
I'm fine too.
I'm good.
So, Miss Melanie, who's part of the Out Top River staff. Miss Melanie, how are you today?
I'm fine, thanks for asking.
How long have you been here?
I've been here 5 years at Althoff Catholic High School.
What's your favorite part about working here at Althoff Catholic?
My favorite part about working here at Althoff, working with the kids, if they come in the cafeteria, I am a cafeteria person. I work for Redbird Cleaning Company, and sometimes I have a lot of contact with the kids as far as they come to me and we talk about everyday life, for as like school, what they should do, and just pretty much try to tell them to keep their head on their shoulder and think positive about everything they do.
How do you like to start your mornings?
I like to start my morning, I get ready for work and get my day started like that.
Who or what inspires you every day?
First of all, I would like to say God inspires me every day. And then as I come to my journey, which is at Althoff Catholic High School, the students.
What's your advice to teenagers?
My advice to teenagers is you're here for a reason and you have a purpose on your life. So with that being said, you need to stay focused and think about your career and go further in your life.
What's your advice to students after leaving high school?
My advice to the students after you leave high school, you need to still keep that positive mind. Get your job until you get off into your career, which may be college. I don't know, what you have prepared, what you would like to do in your life, but just try to stay positive in everything you do.
And here you have it, guys, from Ms. Melanie. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks, Megan. That was an interesting interview.
Now, we're going to hand it off to Greg, who's talking about sports.
Thanks, guys. I'm Greg Wells, and here with me today we have a starting defender for the Althoff Catholic girls soccer team. So, what's your name?
My name is Mary Wessel.
What sports do you play here at Althoff?
I play volleyball, basketball, and soccer.
Did you play soccer before high school?
Yeah, I played in grade school and I also played club soccer.
How long have you been playing soccer at Althoff?
For 2 years.
Why only 2?
Because I transferred in my sophomore year.
Was transferring in hard?
It wasn't too bad. I met a lot of people quick and it was easy.
That's good. So, what's your guys' record this year?
3-1 so far.
Didn't you have a pretty good season last year?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We got 3rd at state last year.
That's very good. How do you think the team's looking this year?
It's a young team, but I think we're really good. We have a lot of potential and we're going to be really good this year.
That's great. Do you like playing on this team?
Yeah, I like it a lot.
What do you enjoy the most about playing on this team?
I enjoy the girls on my team a lot. It's really fun and they make practice enjoyable every day.
Well, that's great. Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
That was a great interview with Mary. Now back to you guys in the studio.
Cool.
Thank you, Greg.
Now we're going to Elliot to hear from Morgan Wells, who's on team court.
I'm here with Morgan Willis, and I'm going to interview her because she is a member of Team Court. I'm gonna ask you some questions. So, what kind of cases do you do in teen court?
It's like a wide range of cases from like possession of marijuana, theft, vandalism, stuff like that.
Okay. What are the requirements for teen court?
Basically, you just have to go to school at a school that like holds teen court. Basically, Althoff is one of them. Of course, you have to be a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior.
Who do you have to get in contact to like be involved with teen court?
Mrs. Schaefer. She deals with all of that.
How long have you been involved with teen court?
Since my sophomore year.
Do you like teen court?
Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's a good program to give back to your youth in your community and just to help them and stuff.
All right, thank you. That's all from us. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Elliot. Now we're going to hand it off to Darius, who's having a Q&A during C1 lunch.
Okay, guys. Now I'm here with Jade and Radisha. When you guys say Jade, a few questions. Jade, which one do you prefer, Marvel or DC?
Marvel, because they got one person that's going to win anyway, so.
Can you tell me what that person is?
I can't tell you they're going to win the debate, so I can't tell you right now.
Alright. Since the March Madness tournament is really hot right now, which team do you think is going to win it all?
Tennessee, because it's excellent.
So Althoff is known to have very good lunch items. Which one is your favorite?
Well, it's nasty or everything else, but curly fries is hitting it right now. Just make them a little more crispy.
Do you like curly fries just normal, or you like some barbecue sauce on it?
You know, barbecue sauce with some Miracle Whip.
Alright, Jay, thanks for your time. Thanks, guys. I'm here with Peyton Jackson, who is a junior here at Althoff Catholic. I'm going to be asking Peyton a few questions. Peyton, which one do you prefer, Marvel or DC?
I think I prefer DC because they were made first and they have probably better storylines.
So since it's March Madness, NCAA basketball is a big thing right now. Do you have a team that you think will win it all?
Duke.
Can you tell me why?
I don't know, I just like Zion Williamson.
Alright. My last question is, out of all the Althoff lunch items that we have, which one is your favorite?
The sweet and sour chicken.
Alright, I would say chicken, but you can't never go wrong with chicken.
Not Althoff.
Alright, thanks for your time. And yeah.
Thank you, Darius. Those are some good questions.
The virtue of the week this week is service. We're going to Jerion to hear more about it.
Hello, Althoff family. This is your guy Jerion. I'm here today to tell you the virtue of the week. The virtue of the week is called service. Now, service means the strength to work for good of others without concern of oneself. Like, for example, like helping the homeless, go to the homeless shelter, giving them some meals and stuff. And also, by doing the little things to give back to the community, like giving donations to charities and other things, just a little service to show how much you appreciate of loving and helping others that people don't have it like you. Just for example, like people, if you got a blessing that God gave you, that He opened the door for you, He's gonna always, want you to share that blessing that you receive from the Lord. He wants you to share that same blessing to the next person who don't have the same blessing as you do. So, it's called service, and thank you, and peace.
Thank you, Jerion.
Now we're going to hand it off to Jet to hear more about upcoming events here at Althoff.
On March 23rd, there's the gala from 6 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. On April 4th, there's the grade school matinee spring musical. The show times are 9:15 a.m. and 12:15 p.m. And finally, on Thursday, March 28th, from 6 p.m. to 8 is the astronomy night. Now I'm going to send it off to the anchors.
Thank you, Jet.
Well, that wraps up our broadcast today if you've made it this long.
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Althoff Catholic.
Super original. Thanks for the students, staff, teachers, alums, and see y'all next time on CBN.